In this video, I will be talking about yet another crucial element of the system, which is concentration. 3 topics on the menu for this video. They are objects of attention, circles of attention, we have small, medium and large circles of attention, and the concept of public solitude. So, the way Stanislavsky puts it, one of the challenges that we face when it comes to performing on the stage is that our attention can easily get much more scattered around the venue. That's one thing, but then worse than that is that we may start paying much more attention to ourselves while on the stage, to our thoughts, to our feelings, to our insecurities, to our fears, and at that moment, when it happens, we have less attention and awareness available to give to music that we perform. Different idea along these lines, which I picked up from a different video, is if we try to impress as we're performing, or if we're thinking, well, am I looking good or feeling good, or if we're focusing on our anxiety while we're performing, in all of those events, we are being distracted from what we're supposed to be doing or supposed to be feeling, experiencing, which is here and now, that particular bar, that particular sound, sonority, cover, or phrase that we are doing. So, to tie all of that together, he was saying that we need an object of attention. We need that object of attention can attach our attention to the music, to what we are doing, and bring it away from whoever it is sitting in the hall, whether it's a music critic or the board of jury members at the competition and audition, and so on. Object for actors, objects of attention could be anything. There could be a prop on the stage, and much better than that, it could be a different actor, the colleague with whom the actor is going to exchange some words and dialogues and play off somebody. With us, we have instruments, whether it's actual instruments, piano, strings and so on, or the voice for singers and so on. But perhaps it also could be more specific and yet more abstract as well. Something in the music itself, any particular phrase, any particular climax, general idea about the music, general concept. Don Green calls it process cues, thinking about the word or something that involves physical movement that is about to happen as you're about to start playing, and whatever it is that will help you to narrow your center, your brain, to the activity you're about to do. But anyway, the point is, the more interesting and the more compelling that object that we can think of in the piece of music is, the easier it will be for us to concentrate on it, to focus on it, and then to have a desire to do something with this. This is almost a direct quote from the book on acting, but well, what can we do with the object of attention? Well, play it, express it, convey it, express phrasing in a particular way that is interesting to us. With all that said, it's also worth understanding that we can't force our concentration. Concentrating and seeming to be concentrating are two different things. So if we seem to be concentrating on something, we are once again focusing on the wrong thing. We're focusing on, well, how does it look to be concentrating? Or in other words, similarly, we're using those extra brain resources, mental resources, to something that is not the experience of performing the music itself. So that must be avoided. Similarly, like we cannot force our emotions. Throughout the system, there is the idea of experiencing, or I am being such and such, versus I'm forcing myself to be such and such. Moving this video closer to the next part, which is the circles of attention, there is a good question for self-reflection or self-contemplation, which is, what are the things that occupy our attention on this stage? Question mark. And sub-question to that, the things that probably don't occupy us as much during our practicing. So in one chunk, what are the things that may be occupying our attention as we're performing on the stage, that may not be present in our thoughts, fears, feelings when we're practicing? Take a moment to reflect on that, or leave some comments if you like to. Just quick ideas. The difference between the two thinking process in the practicing room and the performance could be that, once again, who is it there that's sitting in the audience? It could be family members, or a teacher, or a music critic, or once again, panel of the juries if it's a competition or audition. It could be a friend, the best friend, that shouldn't be intimidating, but what if that same friend who plays the same piece, and by the way that friend is practicing, you know that they are playing faster, louder, and otherwise objectively better. That's a joke, but also it could be the case. So, circles of attention. He's saying there can be a small, medium, and large. But before I do that, before I specify the distinction, at the core, he was suggesting that there is the idea of a mobile circle of attention, which you can carry with you wherever you go. Imagine there is a spotlight over your head, and wherever you're walking, everything else is in the dark, but your body, your mind, is in that spotlight. It's very easy to imagine. We don't need to be actors or otherwise, or meditate or something, or anything else of that nature. Imagine yourself exercising on the street or going to the gym. But let's say if you're running outside or jogging outside. You are aware of your surroundings, of people around you, of cars around you if you're crossing the streets. So in order for you to be safe out there, you need to be aware of your surroundings. However, especially if you're running with headphones in your ears, you're concentrating on your body, on how it feels. You're concentrating on what you're listening to, whether it's a music or audiobook, beyond the point. But you're concentrating not just on one tree at a time. You're concentrating on yourself moving through this space. This is a perfect example of mobile circle of attention. Imagine yourself as you're walking on the stage. You're not getting on the stage into the place where you're going to be playing or sitting at the piano, and okay, here is your area of attention. Now, well, imagine that you're carrying that attention around yourself. You're enclosed in it as you are walking on the stage. So, small circle of attention could surround just you. Medium circle of attention could be you and immediate surrounding. It could be chamber music. I would also extend it that it also could be entire orchestra. Still, medium circle of attention. The large circle of attention could be all of that plus the acoustical features of the hall itself. You listening to what you're getting back from the hall, reverberations and such, and thus you are adjusting your playing based on that feedback. And the idea is you have to be consistently able to successfully shift your attention back and forth from small to medium to large as it's necessary. And this is particularly true, and I would assume most of us who are making music regularly and making chamber music are experiencing, because we have to listen to our part occasionally, but most of the time we have to be paying attention to what's happening around. Not paying attention to stay together, but paying attention in order to be blending our sonorities with everybody around us. And along these lines, it's also worth noting that he was saying that we need to have absolute control over our small circle of attention of ourselves and medium circles of attention. And then the larger, the bigger the large circle of attention is, the firmer that grip control over our medium and small circles must be. And therefore, by improving our skill in that, the more public solitude will shut things out, will not let us to get distracted by whatever it is happening outside of that circle that does not help us to perform. Having said that, very briefly, a reminder, Stanislavsky wasn't teaching us how to ignore the audience as we're performing, acting on the stage. On the contrary, he believed that the audience is a very active participant in the whole performance. So the idea here is that by shutting things out is that we are not paying attention to or not having thoughts, eliminating thoughts about who it is they're sitting in the audience or their reactions and so on. And instead, we're focusing on objects of attention within our circle, within the piece of music we're performing, and on the act of sharing it to the audience. We are not ignoring them. We are not taking in whatever is happening in the audience, but we are focusing on giving to them. Public solitude. So his idea was that, conceptually, the idea is that when we perform on stage, we're focusing on ourselves, we're focusing on the performance, we're living as if there is no audience to act for or to perform for. But while we are feeling alone, so to speak, we are experiencing it while in public. Hence, public solitude. There was another story as one of the main students in the book was walking through the large square. He caught himself thinking that why is it easier to experience public solitude when he was able to shut everything out from his attention while being in a crowded square or crowded park in the city, which is once again huge, lots of people. So why is it easier to experience, to feel the sense of public solitude there versus on the stage? And then he was continuing, isn't it because no one cares about me there, while on the stage everybody is supposed to watch the performer, observe performer? I guess one of the takeaway ideas from all of this is that as time passes, we should become more and more comfortable with being ourselves when we are on the stage, which is not that easy, as I've been saying it before, quoting Stanislavsky, when he was saying we need to relearn how to walk, look, do anything on the stage. And I will be coming back to that idea in the next video regarding the relaxation. However, right now as a summary for this video, he connects circles of attention, magic if given circumstances, and imagination, saying that imagined objects in our mind, decoys, stimuli, anything for our creativity, they create an emotional reaction that in return creates a different kind of concentration that doesn't focus on just one specific object, emotion, note, or difficult passage, but rather creates a chain reaction that sets our whole creative being, body and spirit to work, and prolongs our creativity. I hope there were some useful ideas in this video, and I will see you in the next one. As always, I will be curious to connect on all of these subject matters, all of these topics, and go deeper into a deeper discussion on them. So feel free to comment below, and potentially there will be an additional video on any of the topics that have been recorded so far, or any new ones in the farther future. Happy learning as always. See you in the next one.